Got ourselves a 5-game NBA slate here. We're going to do what we always do on this Splash Play NBA channel. We're going to dig into my projections and Stokastic's projections along with the ownership and see what the field's thinking right now, how plays are going to look. We're going to hop into the world of Unabated, see what the best betting tools in the biz think are going to be going on today. Of course, $30 off, promo code SPLASH, unabated.com/NBA. We're going to run some Sim DFS lineups. By the end of this video, guys, you know the must plays on today's January 30th NBA slate. Let's get into it. I am extra ugly today. Guys, threw up this morning, broke some blood vessels in my face candidly. I've been dabbling in the world of semaglutides and got some oral ones and didn't feel great yesterday. Today, threw up more than I ever have in my life. So as a result, all this shit around my eyes just bursted blood vessels. We're doing great today. The good news, the NBA slate's going to want to make me rip my eyes out. All the Q tags we have again today, including some of the ones that we had yesterday as well. You got LeBron James, Ja Morant, Alperen Sengun, Jalen Suggs, Jeremy Grant, Dorian Finney-Smith, your questionable tag, guys. Probable, Trae Young, Rui Hachimura, Gary Harris. LeBron one is a key one. He's on the thumbnail for good reason. They are playing Washington. Anthony Davis out here. So that's going to be a key one. Ja Morant, of course, opening up some opportunity for Memphis. Your Jaren Jackson's, your Desmond Baines can be crucial for that. Sengun would open up a whole new world for Houston. Potentially a Steven Adams start, though he's also questionable, I believe. So a lot of opportunity to go around with these Q tags right now. Chad also talked about Minnesota here. We got Rob Dillingham season. I think he'd still get Nickeil Alexander-Walker season before that. But basically, it is another slate here in the NBA. NBA doesn't know why people don't want to watch the sport. I don't know. It's kind of crazy that people don't watch a sport where players are in and out every single day and you don't know what's going on until the last possible minute. And sometimes after the games even start, about 15 minutes after the tip-off time is supposed to be. So anyway, that's me bitching passive-aggressively at Adam Silver. But the good news, I'm under federal investigation for Terry Rozier under, so I've got that going for me today. Let's look at some projections, guys. See what we're going to start off with here. Of course, you're getting my data here combined with stochastic data, or stochastic minutes rather, is what kind of fuel the underlying data that I have for my own projections. Of course, we're going to pair to stochastic projections. We're going to pair to stochastic ownership along the way. But let's see what we got here. Let's sort it out. And again, the same thing as always here, where they did not update their minutes projections before the show. Basically, when it gets to NBA All-Star break, if this is still how they're doing their data, I'm probably going to try to find another minutes source or create one myself. Maybe an AI E1 is my thought. But anyway, that's where we are right now. Every day before the show, I have to update all the projections because they don't take guys out as the day goes on. So it's a bit of an annoying change in their process. Your top projected guy right now, assuming that he does go today, is LeBron James. I'm at 56 fantasy points. Stokastic has been 56.7. At a 10.5 salary, he's your highest priced guy in the slate. He's also your best projected guy in the slate. Only one over 50 fantasy points according to me and according to Stokastic. And in fact, he's the only one within about 5 points of 50 fantasy points. So LeBron probably going to make it every lineup. The position eligibility for him as well. He's only power forward. Power forward is still a tough spot to fill in general, but should be one today. You're going to be filling with LeBron James more often than not. Very good projection. 63% of the field's going to be on him. I got him in 59% of my top 150 lineups here before the show. So LeBron going to be a core play today, no matter what. And I would say for me, well, not no matter what. If he's not in, he won't be a core play. Assuming that he is in, he will be a core play today on a slate where we are certainly going to have a lot of value or a lot of theoretical value to go around. Anthony Edwards. So less of a projection here by a pretty good margin. He's 9,500 under a 5x value. Even that 5x value thing is not exactly everything it used to be in the old days of NBA DFS, where it's like you probably should have only played guys over a 5x value. Now in the modern NBA with sim tools and all that stuff, people knowing standard deviations better, you can play guys under a 5x more. That said, only 11% exposure to Anthony Edwards compared to 13% for me. So I'm a little bit above the field there. Happy to be slightly above the field on Ant. He doesn't project that well. The matchup certainly for him. For Minnesota, going against Utah, nothing to worry about here. But the total of 115.3 implied points to Minnesota, nothing really to write home about here. Not one of those spots for Ant where I'll kind of be willing to ignore the projection, like when he's played Washington, when he's played teams like Atlanta, maybe take your shots more. Versus Utah, it's certainly a softer team, but not one that I'm feeling like, you want to go out of your way to get Ant here. Getting him a little bit above the field feels pretty good. Check the chat. Definitely been a tilting week. It certainly has. Jock Landale and Jackson Hayes being center options. Yes, yeah, fantastic slate indeed. Though Landale, you need Adams to be out for Landale to really get there, but he would still be okay, I guess, as a backup in that case that Adams does play and Alperen Sengun does not. My tilt story in Showdown Warriors Thunder had the perfect lineup. Needed to switch Moody for Gary Payton Jr. One switch cost me $2K. Nobody cared. Well, look, I certainly relate. It happens a lot in these slates. Look, I had some great lineups yesterday that I was like, you know what? Everybody played Jonas Valanciunas. Everybody played Josh Okogie. Maybe you could still get there. Nope, there's still enough of the field that didn't play those guys. But it's been a tough run, man. The chalk yesterday, as I talked about here, and I hate it when this happens. Like, I usually am fairly measured in how I talk about DFS because that's what kind of DFS requires, whether it's NBA, whether it's NFL, all that stuff. I really felt like the value plays in the yesterday's slate were about as good as you can get, but the Wizards got smoked. Okogie just didn't get enough shots up. The shots he did get up missed. Ty Jerome paid off, so my sweet boy is going to be fairly popular again today. That worked out, but like really a slate like that where it's like the chalk value seemed really good and it just wasn't as good. And also you had so many things moving around after the slate as well, or after this video in particular. It's been the case every day, and I would love these videos to have a little more of a evergreen window, but that's not the NBA for us, unfortunately. We got out and Jokic too. Jokic being a disaster was not what I saw coming either. Jokic and Towns basically completely negated each other in that game in a way that I would not have expected, but that's how the NBA goes sometimes. Alperen Şengün with the Q tag on him, 7% ownership for the field. I got him in 8. Not a big stand here. Do generally like Şengün more than the field does, but this point here, I didn't juke any rates for Houston today after getting kind of left holding the bag with Amin Thompson. So I won't get Şengün a crazy amount. Won't get Amin Thompson a crazy amount unless there's something that happens that I'm not aware of right now. Darius Garland projects really well for me, as I've mentioned this entire year. He's basically been a better player in terms of fantasy production than Donovan Mitchell. The minutes outlays are a little bit different, but higher usage rate for Donovan Mitchell by a little bit, higher assist rate for Darius Garland, better shooting for Darius Garland. At 7,600, he had his day of rest yesterday. The rest of the Cleveland guys went, so maybe Garland comes out a little more frisky if you want to apply some game theory here. Really, the projection's the main thing, though. The $7,600 salary is the main thing for Darius Garland. I've got him in 41% of my lineups. The field's at 20%. Austin Reeves, 25% for the field, 15% for me. If LeBron is out, I will certainly get Reeves more because at that point, every Laker is going to be playable. When you take away two high usage, high production guys like LeBron, like AD out of the lineup, guys like Reeves are just going to naturally look better because they're a usage leader. Max Christie would look better. Rui Hachimura would look better. Pretty much whoever's going to get viable minutes for Lakers will look a lot better. That said, right now for Reeves, if LeBron is in, I don't think he's a smash play. I have him at a 4.9x value versus Washington. I think he's worth that 25% ownership. For me, though, you got 15% in my top 150. I probably wouldn't adjust that right now. Here's the big one. So Jonas Valanciunas, yesterday the Wizards got absolutely destroyed. They were down like 25. Actually, no. The first quarter, honestly, it's worth going to the popcorn machine. Toronto just obliterated Washington yesterday. It was like a really, really bad situation. Jonas Valanciunas was on pace. He had 23 minutes in the third quarter. Probably would have gotten to about 30 would be my guess. Let me just pull up the game flow here from Popcorn Machine. So you can see here, they were down. They basically had like no points in the first quarter. It was awful. They were down. You can't see the thing here. Down. What? Doesn't make sense. Anyway, they were down a lot in the first quarter, kind of kept being down, closed the gap a little. It stayed away the entire time. Jonas Valanciunas got pulled with 4 minutes left. I guess about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Would have theoretically come back in around the 8-minute mark here. So he would have gotten to about 31 minutes, which I thought would have been his outlay based on previous games without Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr out again. So Jonas Valanciunas, I do think is worth going back to. The big reason, too, for going back to Joe Val, I mean, you're still worried about the Lakers blowing him out. The Lakers at this point, though, I don't think have the offensive weapons to run away from Washington. That said, you might have felt that way about Toronto. I don't know. Toronto's certainly not a good team, but I think they're good enough to be able to pull away from teams that aren't good. So I would say that for Jonas Valanciunas, I think they'll hang in this game versus the Lakers. The fact that Jonas Valanciunas didn't push his minutes too much yesterday means he should be able to get to high 20s here, if not 30 in a competitive game. The issue is that Washington is so bad. Like, Washington really is playing like a team that deserves to be relegated from the NBA at this point. So that said, Stokastic did not update for Sarr being out before the show, so they only have at 15% ownership. My guess on this shorter slate, even with him bombing yesterday, still probably going to be about 60% ownership for the slate. I got him in 99% of my lineups. He projects too well. I'd have him at 40 fantasy points if he can play 28 minutes today. The question is just as he gets those 28 minutes, and are the Wizards good enough to even score points is like the other side of the question. But Jonas Valanciunas versus Jackson Hayes, I mean, technically two guys who know each other from New Orleans, I believe. I don't see an issue with Jonas Valanciunas here, being able to abuse Jackson Hayes, being able to abuse Koloko. Whatever he's going to get at center from the Lakers is not Anthony Davis is going to be so much appreciated. I think Jonas Valanciunas is a great play again today. And if the ownership is down a little bit because of the fact that he didn't succeed, yesterday, because him not getting the run of minutes, I can live with that and just play Joe Val over the field. Nothing else with note up top, guys. Jordan Poole, I have a good amount today. Obviously, that'd be another key part of keeping the game competitive. I think Jordan Poole failing yesterday is a big part of why the Wizards did not hang in that game at all. But, obviously that's the Vegas total thing and all of that. Vegas expects a team to score 107.5 points in today's case for the Wizards. If the team scores 80, somebody's got to fail there. And in that case, yesterday, it was in fact Jordan Poole. Let's sort by value here, though, and check out some of the top value players. No surprise here, Jonas Valanciunas with a very lofty projection I have for him. 7.2x value at 5,700. So I've made the case already. You have to decide for yourself. Do you want to go back there? I think a lot of people will be gun shy about going back to Joe Val. As long as you know the risks there, which are basically that the Wizards, if they get their ass kicked, Joe Val's not going to get that fourth quarter stint. If the game's competitive, there's a chance he could not get that fourth quarter stint. Like, let's say the bench unit's running hot, the Lakers were ahead by 10, and in a group with Rashawn Holmes and Kispert or whatever, they close that gap. They're the ones in the fourth quarter who showed some life down the stretch. It's another way Joe Val wouldn't close. But at this point, if he has a decent game in the first three quarters, the game's competitive, I would think Joe Val closes. A little bit of risk there. He's got to be either really productive in the first three quarters or the game has to be close and they have to go to him in the fourth quarter. So you're kind of asking a parlay for Joe Val if you want to nickel and dime me having him in this much ownership. But again, it's a short slate and he busted yesterday. So I think it's worth being on more Joe Val than less. Brooklyn value yesterday paying off versus Charlotte chalk as classic DFS. Yeah, it was. And even fucking Russell having a good game, but still getting jerked around with his minutes and all that was a stupid one. But that was one of those games too where we talked about Brooklyn seemingly actively tanking games, pulling guys like Russell in competitive games in the fourth quarter. You can't tank when you're up 20 points. So that's the other side of it. The good news is Miles Bridges hit, so I don't feel bad about that one. I cape for him pretty hard in these shows, and it takes a lot for me to cape for a guy who's accused of domestic violence things and very credible arguments against him. Ty Jerome. So you are getting Darius Garland back today. That said, Ty Jerome's still one of the better values in the slate. $4,400 salary, about 23 minutes projected. I am at 59% ownership. The field's at 52.5%. I always love Ty Jerome as long as he's going to get minutes. So that's a good one. We're just hit just like he does. Yes, no ladies there nearby. Well, fortunately, I guess. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for the rest of the society. For Ty Jerome here, I think he's worth a value play again. The main thing is that obviously with Garland in, with Mitchell in, you're kind of asking for one of those guys to not play extra minutes, not play too well. Cleveland versus Atlanta, though, with no Jalen Johnson. Cleveland is a 10-point favorite here at home today. So Ty Jerome getting his minutes, being a part, frankly, of what I assume. Well, I want to say assume. Even though it's only a 10-point spread, I find it hard to believe Atlanta's going to hang this game. Cleveland's had their struggles lately, but this point in Atlanta, they're talking about shopping Bogdan Bogdanovic. He's not available right now. He's not with the team. Clint Capella's out today, so the center rotation is going to get a little bit weaker as well, with it being Okongwu and I guess Mohamed Goye or Gay. I think it's Gay is how you're supposed to say, but it feels like you're doing a silly name thing. With that one, that guy being in today, probably playing some backup center. Larry Nance still floating around as a backup center option as well. It's not as good of a defensive thing as Capella being out there as normally. I would say that for Cleveland, I would worry about Atlanta hanging in here a little bit, which does mean more Ty Jerome potentially. Pointing for Ty Jerome, the minutes could get jerked around a little bit more than they could yesterday, but he still got there, had a slow first half. He just goes nuts for one stint every game. So Ty Jerome at 4,400, I'll be there with the field today. If you wanted to go away from it, though, he did just hit his chalk yesterday, so this kind of naturally pushed the ownership higher than it probably should be on these slates. So I would say chasing the Joe Val down day, maybe being willing to move a little bit away from the Ty Jerome up day yesterday would be a little bit of a logical thing to do here. It's Mo Gay, pronounced can't wait for the Grady. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, look, if it's gay, it's gay. If it's gay, it's okay. That's what we say. So good for Muhammad Gay. We got Jaden McDaniels here. Guy gets a little bit of a rate boost in court time without Dante DiVincenzo. I've played Jaden McDaniels a lot on slates lately, and I've been very happy with the outputs he's given me. He produces well enough, knocks down some corner threes, will add some stocks, some boards. Per minute, he really hasn't been that great on the year, which really made me look at my numbers a little bit more. But he's been averaging 0.77 fantasy points per minute. So I'd have him at 0.88. The big thing is that he's playing mid-30s minutes, about 35.5 minutes of projection from Stokastic right now. So for Jaden McDaniels, playing mid to high 30s minutes, a game for Minnesota versus Utah, maybe not competitive, but a team that is a little bit turnover prone, a little bit loose with the ball. And frankly, it is only a 6-point spread favoring Minnesota on the road. So not that matters for a guy like Jaden McDaniels, but I think for him in the spot, being able to get some turnovers from Utah, being able to get some more production, $5,500 price tag's getting up there a little bit, but he's playing so many minutes at this point, it's looking good. Yeah, I think his average is getting better. Yeah. I mean, it's not where it needs to be. Like if you're a 1 minute guy, 1 fantasy point per minute guy, I'd be like, you got to lock this guy. But I am getting him at 43% compared to 19 for the field. So it is a big stand. And what did you miss? You missed everything. You missed all the stuff. All right, we got Darius Garland. Again, we talked about him already. Dillingham would look better if you get the minutes freed up by Mike Conley. Still would think you get more Alexander Walker overall. Minnesota rotations, I actually haven't looked at enough lately. Let's go here. So Minnesota yesterday versus Phoenix. We got Dillingham coming in when we got Nickeil Alexander-Walker coming in when Mike Conley went out. So that's not a great sign for a direct benefit to Dillingham minutes. Dillingham came in when Julius Randle went out. Okay. So they went a little bit smaller with him. Played a good stint here. Played about 11 minutes in the first half. Second half, though, he didn't get in the second quarter. Or didn't get in the third quarter, rather. Got in the fourth quarter. And they played Jalen Clark over him as a backup to Conley. So I don't think there's a guarantee that Dillingham gets big minutes here. But if you did get Conley out to give him a shot to get more versus Utah, too, it's not a big spread here. You're not expecting an ass kicking. But Utah, you'd expect them to have to push things to the limit a little bit less. So I could take shots at Dillingham if Conley's out. If Conley's in, though, 5% feels like more than enough. Really, these rest of the guys aren't big values at all. Jordan Poole looks like a value to me relatively. LeBron James looks like a value relatively. Bub Carrington will be pretty decently played as a value. I have him less in the field, though. Sort of your main value plays right now. You need to get real value. You probably need a LeBron to be out. You need a Şengün to be out. You need one of those big ticket guys we talked about up top. Ja being out would open things up a little bit, but there isn't really a direct value there. You need something to be out here to open up like really sustainable value. Naz Reid doesn't have a Q tag. My Julius Randle ownership just went down. I mean, Naz Reid's still the same player no matter what. I wouldn't not play Naz Reid because Randle's whatever. I guess vice versa too. Also, I would just never really play Randle anyway. Lakers, unless Anthony Edwards are out, then you play Randle. Lakers, 116 implied points. Washington, 107.5 implied points. And guys, no deeper dive for me today, I believe. So what they're doing today, and I don't want to spoil what they're doing. They're testing some shows that aren't the deeper dive in that 5 o'clock spot because I think they feel like the show has maybe outlived its usefulness. I don't speak for Stokastic, but that's sort of the vibe that I've gotten from the comments with them. So basically today they're doing a different show there. So there isn't going to be a game-by-game preview from Stokastic going on. So it's the best I can give you guys today. So if you can, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Of course, I show up here and do the work Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. every day. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I've got blood vessels burst in my face or not. I still show up here and do the best I can, updating projections for you guys, updating minutes, whatever I can do to give you guys the best read possible on the slate at 4 o'clock here. Of course, I couldn't do without Unabated as well. Check them out, $30 off. Click the link in the description as well. If you go check out Unabated, you use the promo code SPLASH there. But click the link because they're watching it closely and want to make sure we're converting as well as we can for them. And of course, Stokastic, if you want the Sims tools, their data as well, which doesn't update in time for the show sometimes, but does update many times to get you ready for a slate as well. Stokastic, 15% off. Link in the description down below. Promo code SPLASH will get you that sweet deal off for yourself. All right. So Lakers, very chalky LeBron. I'm a little bit under the field on him right now. Still looks like the key play on the slate overall. He's your only high dollar guy you can go to. Obviously versus Washington, you expect there to be some potential to hit a true ceiling spot for LeBron. 60, 70 fantasy points, I think, are in range. Honestly, I'm surprised I'm low in him here, given that I have him about as well projected. Having that 1.7 fantasy points a minute today when accounting for the Lakers total, the available Lakers as well. Obviously missing AD, a big part of that, and the matchup with Washington overall. So for the Lakers, I think LeBron is your guy. Everybody else here is going to be a lesser piece. And if LeBron is out, everybody looks better as a result. So no surprises there. Austin Reeves, 25% for the field, 15% for me. Again, Austin Reeves to me will look a lot better if LeBron is out. Still think he's a viable enough play if LeBron is in, but 8,500 is a steep price tag for him. I saw him at 1.2 fantasy points a minute today. He's projected to play about 35 minutes, which is not a bad haul at all. But Reeves, the rates haven't taken a big enough jump up in court time without AD. Overall, he's been averaging court time without Davis. 1.1 fantasy points a minute, 26% usage, 26% assist rate. Not bad numbers, but I've got him there anyway. I've got him at 1.2. So if I've got him at 1.2 and he's not, popping meaningfully, I don't know that I'm going to go out of my way to get Austin Reeves today, but quarter of the field's going to be there. That feels about right if you want to try to match the field on that. Rui Hachimura will look a lot better if you get LeBron out. As it is right now at 4,900, he just doesn't see enough of a boost without AD. has only averaged 0.8 fantasy points per minute, 17% usage, 12% assist rate in court time without AD, and actually tried to make it better for him where he has rates go down even further in court time without AD and D'Angelo Russell. I kept the Russell time in there because Rui's, I guess, had some good days. It's Russell out there. But in reality, like, he just is kind of uninvolved in a way that I don't think is the best for him or for you as a fantasy player. So Rui Hachimura at 4,900, tournament play for sure at under 10%, gets you leverage against LeBron if he scores more points. Certainly be something that would hurt the upside for LeBron, Austin Reeves to a similar extent. But I don't think Rui projects well enough here for me. And only 25.6 minutes as well with him being banged up lately. The minutes haul doesn't seem great either. Max Christie, 30 minutes for him, $4,600 salary. He does gain a little bit without having AD out there, 0.74 fantasy points a minute, as opposed to his usual 0.65, but still not enough for them. Rui homecoming, again, revenge games matter for guys that didn't want to leave a team. I don't think Rui had any issue leaving a team, but sure, you can bump up your revenge stats for Rui here a little bit. But as a 4.4x value for me, you'd have to bump him a lot to get him somewhere where I'd actually want to go out of my way to play him above the field. Unless LeBron is out. Again, then whole new look at him. Jackson Hayes, your likely starting center, told the media he'll be starting for no AD. He's projected to play about 25.7 minutes. You'll get some backup Christian Coloco. You'll get some, well, they have Vanderbilt in. I'm not sure if Vanderbilt's going to be in or not. He's not on the injury report, right? Checking this real fast. Because Vanderbilt, I thought, aggravated something last week. No, he's not on the injury report. All right, so Vanderbilt going to go. Basically, those will be your backup centers then, Coloco and Vanderbilt. Trey Jemison maybe getting some blowout run, I guess. But in the spot here, again, Mike, we're literally on the team. You can see it on the screen. Like, please don't expect me to just do personal curation, guys. Come on, guys. I'm talking about it, right? What more can I do for you? We got... Fucking Christ, man. Coloco, backup center, point being Jackson Hayes, who I'm in the middle of talking about. Projected play 26 minutes, looks okay, doesn't look like a smash play either. Dorian Finney-Smith can also play some 5 potentially here, but probably at this point with the bodies they need, he'll play some more 4. Finney-Smith, not a great play either. Doesn't have enough sample size to give him a rate boost. Finney-Smith, not the priority. Really is just LeBron and Reeves here. Unless LeBron is out, then they all look better. Washington, a lot of Jordan Poole for me, 34% compared to the field's 28. He's been good on the year. He's playing at a 1.14 fantasy point per minute pace. Court time without Malcolm Brogdon, it does look better. For these guys' rates, I basically gave J-Val the rates overall with court time without Sar. For the rest of the guys, I gave them their court time without Brogdon because it kind of made the minutes look a little bit better. The rates look a little bit better. Poole does benefit quite a bit from not having Brogdon out there. He's averaged overall 1.2 fantasy points per minute without Brogdon. And that's in 2,100 possessions. So we're talking about like 4x the sample size of that being stable. So I feel pretty good generally about Jordan Poole in the spot, even though he really was awful yesterday. And as I said, like, he was the reason that they got smoked yesterday. You know, Jordan Poole not hitting his shots, not doing anything useful. Like, he was the one thing in Washington that just didn't work at all in that first half in particular. But going back to Poole today again, Field's going to be there. I'll be a little bit above it. I think he projects well at 6,900. Kyle Kuzma, home revenge game for him, I suppose, though. When he played the Lakers last time, I don't think he did much, so it doesn't really matter that much. Kuzma's been bad on the year. Should take a little bit of a rate boost overall in court time without Brogdon. I have him at 1 fantasy point per minute here, generally without Brogdon. That's the rates that he's played in about 1,400 possessions in court time without Brogdon this year. That said, I only got Kuzma when marking his rates to 0.92 fantasy points per minute. So he would certainly be a leverage play against Poole. Koulibaly's going to pick up ownership. Like, Kuzma's your one unowned piece here, but he doesn't project that well, and he hasn't played that well in the years. So if you're going to play Kuzma, I think there's good game theory to it, but you're also getting a player that just hasn't been the same player. Like, he was like good last year at points. He would rebound, would hit double-digit rebounds, would get some assists, would have real fantasy points upside, and his overall point total too. And now he's just a dude, and I have him as a 4x value on the slate. So really would have to hold my nose to play Kuzma, but I do think there's a logic for it. Hey, you got Taj Gibson starting right yesterday. I think it was lucky. You got one right. Go F yourself. So you're doing great with your troll handle. Jonas Valanciunas, we talked about a lot already. To me, he'd be super chalk. As I mentioned, Stokastic did not update their data before the show, so you're seeing an outdated projection that assumes Sar was in. I changed the minutes, though, to reflect basically what the situation would have been yesterday with Sar being out. J-Val in the spot, you need it to be competitive. You need him to close, but he also can put up enough fantasy points against Jackson Hayes if he only plays 3/4 a run. So J-Val, to me, I got him in almost all of my lineups. I don't think that I want to be that exposed today, but if people are going to be under on him today because he did fail yesterday because he just didn't get that 4th-quarter run, it wasn't productive enough in the first 3 quarters as the team went to shit, I'd be willing to go back to J-Val a good amount today. I think they'd like to be, but nobody wants their guys at the price tags they want him for. They want to trade Jonas Valanciunas, but I think wanted a first or a couple seconds, and people don't want to give up a couple seconds. And Poole and Kuzma, I'm sure the contracts do not make them very movable, so you got to really want him. And Kuzma's played like shit this year, so he's probably submarine his trade value as well. I don't think they would love to sell, but they got nothing to sell. Cool, and you're not going to sell like Koulibaly. You're not going to sell Keyshawn George, who I don't think actually have real futures in the NBA, but they're the kind of guys that teams talk themselves into like keeping and seeing, and we can watch him grow. Koulibaly I like enough, but like 51% true shooting, he's not really a dude right now. Anyway, Koulibaly, not really a dude right now, but I'm playing him 24% today compared to the field's 20. $5,500 salary, shooting guard, small forward. That's basically that. We talked about that. They were down a lot. They were not in that game really. Bub Carrington, chalky play here, $3,700 salary coming off the bench. If you do see a blowout for Washington, and we did see one yesterday, so let's confirm this. So actually, you know what? You don't get Bub in a blowout. You're only getting Bub's minutes off the bench. I feel like the Bub minutes are a little aggressive by Stokastic here. They have him at 26. Yesterday, he played 23. Could have played a few more minutes in, but I don't think there's a guarantee he gets more minutes. I'm not sold on the Bub Carrington value being here. I'm not sold on the minutes projection either. And it wouldn't shock me when they finally update their minutes for the day to reflect all the injuries and all of that. I don't think you're going to get Bub Carrington quite as much. So I'll say that right now, 30% for the field. I got him less. I think you'll get less when you run the lineups for a real pool anyway. Atlanta, no Jalen Johnson, torn labrum from him, so he'll be out for the year, which is not a surprise given the fact that he hurt his shoulder not doing anything, and it was like popped out of the socket and flopping around. Jalen Johnson done. As a result, the Hawks are really not a team that can do much damage at a certain point. Where are they in the standings? Hawks, I think, are a team that at a certain point calls off the dogs. They're going to pull off a Trae Young trade anytime soon. Right now they're in the play-in, 22 and 25. And that's with Jalen Johnson. They've lost 6 in a row. I think the Hawks are going to start to fall apart a little bit here. That's it for this game. 114.8 implied total here. No first either. They're going the wrong way here. They need to trade Trae, honestly, is where it needs to go, unfortunately for them. But I don't think Trae also has the greatest market in the world. Spurs got a lot of firsts right now. So for Atlanta, though, maybe that makes sense. There was one point where people thought Trae was going to go to the Spurs, and that was like the thing. But clearly, if you get Fox over Trae, I think you would do that. If you're like a real NBA team and not just like a fantasy player, you're probably doing that 9 times out of 10 because Fox can actually defend, do some stuff, and give you similar production to Trae. So unfortunately, the Atlanta getting their pick back from the Spurs, probably not likely either. But anyway, Trae Young not getting much of here. Gave him a rate boost without Jalen Johnson. The issue for him is that he doesn't gain as much from Jalen Johnson being out as other guys do. Like Dyson Daniels goes from about a 17% usage to 20% usage and change. Okongwu's basically flat in usage. Vic Krejci gains a little bit. Garrison Matthews gains a little bit. Reza Shea goes to a 20% and change usage guy, which he is normally. But Trae just gains a little bit. 29% usage in quarter time without Jalen Johnson. 47% assist rate. 1.2 fantasy points a minute. He's just not a materially better player. And when you're going against Cleveland and you're not gaining a whole lot for the rates, I don't think Trae Young is a player that gains a lot overall for the situation without Jalen Johnson. So Fields not going to play him very much as a tournament option. If LeBron doesn't play, people will end up playing Trae Young just because there isn't anywhere to spend your money up top. But really, to me, he doesn't look good, and I have him a lot lower than Stokastic. He just hasn't played that well this year in terms of his production. Like he's been more efficient, better assist guy. But really, overall, like he's not creating as much per 100 possession stats, and that's why I'm not getting him very much today. Dyson Daniels, 2x the field. Okongwu a little bit under. DeAndre Hunter, 2x the field. Basically, you're getting some Atlanta guys here with Bogdan out, with Capella out, but none of them look like fantastic plays overall. Tough matchup versus Cleveland, too. So if they hang in versus Cleveland, I would guess that Trae Young exceeds his outcome a little bit. Dyson Daniels going against some high usage guys on the wing, maybe a few more stocks for him. He has a theoretical upside. I think Atlanta's an interesting tournament team, but projection-wise, none of them look that great or like a must-have. Cleveland 124. Man, I spent too much time this beginning segment. I got to go faster. Cleveland not talk faster. I need to get through the segment faster because we got to get to unabated at 4:30. I keep fucking it up. Cleveland 124.8 implied points. A lot of Cleveland here today. They're playing Atlanta, who's an up-pace spot, gaining about 3 possessions and change. Not a good defense either. Cleveland's a good team, so you're getting a good offense, playing more possessions, playing at a faster pace. That's what you're looking for, really. Getting a lot of these guys, I am half the field in Donovan Mitchell. Nobody missing that makes him a better play. As we've talked about here, he's not really a better play than a lot of guys on this team. I still have him getting more fancy points a minute today, but with him projected to play about 31 minutes, it's not there. That's true. No, but it's more about me not doing an over an hour show. I appreciate the sentiment. Evan Mobley with the field on that. Darius Garland, 2x the field on that. So Garland is my big stand here. Jarrett Allen with the field. Max Strus a little bit under the field. Ty Jerome above the field on him, getting almost 60% Ty Jerome. Cleveland, I think, is your team. You're going to get a lot of chalk from today. Obviously, I prefer the guys I'm getting higher ownership to. Garland, Jerome, Strus is a shooting guard, small forward, looks good. You have no Levert today. Again, a little bit of a depleted one. So for this one, can I do a 30-minute puppet show? If it got me paid by a sponsor, sure. Yeah, Jordan Poole went off. He turned the off switch last night. So for this point, for Cleveland, take whoever you want. Get more Mitchell if you want. I'm low on him. They all look good here. Atlanta's just too soft for the matchup. We know it at this point. Everybody jams Atlanta. But in this case, the guys actually project well enough to justify jamming, a team playing Atlanta. So Cleveland looks good here. Play them at will, but know that the field loves to play guys against Atlanta and against Washington, probably more than they should. And guys, if you get value in this video, again, I do the best I can every day here. Please show some love, subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subs by the All-Star break. It's a lofty goal here, given that we got a week and change. But look, goals are goals. Sometimes you don't hit them. And I haven't pushed that goal hard enough. But look, I'm here doing the work here every Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Thanks to our friends at Unabated, who you all should check out. Get their data, get their bets, all that stuff. Please, if you can here, support a brand new channel. We're about 2 months in, almost 3 now. And the growth's been good, but the growth can always be better. So please subscribe, hit the like button, do all that stuff. Goes a long way for me here. Just one guy running 2 different channels, trying to do the best I can, trying to make them into real businesses. And that's what we're doing here every day. We got Anthony Edwards a little bit above the field. Julius Randle a little bit under the field. Rudy Gobert. The field loves Rudy Gobert. I've been low on Gobert all this year because he just hasn't been the same player. That said, going against Utah, certainly a revenge spot for Rudy Gobert if you want to file that away. I'm sure he's touching all the microphones that are going to be in the press area to go back to some nostalgia for him. But for Gobert, it's a lot for him. I probably should get more exposure, but I think it's going to change around because this is also assuming against Stokastic's data here. Did not have updated that J-Val is going to be going without Sar. They had Sar in their data set. So as a result, I think the J-Val ownership goes up. Gobert goes down. I probably get the same amount of Gobert, but the field will get less. So Gobert doesn't project as well to me. I have about 4.5 fantasy points lower. And Stokastic does, which you can see right here. This is my projection. This is theirs. So I'm low on Gobert, but I don't think the field's going to be as high on Gobert when Stokastic updates for J-Val getting all the work. Let's see. Wow, this is an aggressive one. Just grab the DFS industry by the hair and fuck it in the ass. It's an aggressive take, but okay. Sure. Hopefully sensually. That sounds more caveman style, which is not my hair. I like to put on some Kenny G. Just let that do the work. Naz Reid above the field on him. Jaden McDaniels above the field on him by a good amount. Again, I like Minnesota here. They're playing Utah, who sucks. The key guys I'm getting less of, obviously, but more McDaniels, more Naz Reid. I'm going to fade the top guys, getting more of the second tier guys. Makes a lot of sense. It did escalate quickly, but hey, John Daly's here every day, showing love. I'll read his chats, much like Robert Griffin III and our guy Tyler have indoctrinated me to reading inappropriate chats. If you're a good guy in chat, I'll pretty much read whatever you put in there for the most part. So that one I won't read, but that's not Diddy style. We didn't talk about baby oils. Baby oils and a lack of consent were not mentioned. Mike Conley, 22% exposure right now compared to the field 16. Conley, if he's out, obviously going to open up some more minutes for Nickeil Alexander-Walker in particular. If I had to guess, he would get the start if Conley were out. Dillingham would get more minutes as well. Both guys become more in play. But right now, they're both about 10%, 5% plays. Utah looks like one of the worst projected teams we've had ever. Nobody projected above 30 besides Walker Kessler. And even that, I'm not sold. I guess Colin Sue got above it in the most recent update I had with the Vegas total. these guys are all really overpriced. Marketing is almost 8K, and Utah's now a full roster of guys. I don't know how you go there. You got Keontae George, Sexton, Clarkson, Collier in. You got all the usage guards in. Guys like Sensabaugh getting shifted down the rotation when they get in. If they get in at all, they're going to get up shots. Utah looks like a real bad scene here. I don't know a single player you'd want to play. I got Collins, my boy, at 2%. I have him at a 30.6 projection. He's also in trade rumors right now. Apparently the Kings are hot in his trail. He's played great on the year. So for John Collins, I guess that's it, but really nothing here stands out. Nobody above 5% owned. If somebody hits here, you're going to be on an island. I'm in a DFS tournament today. Houston, we got, I think, 2 more games. Yeah, 2 more games here. You'll hit unabated for some bets. Of course, DFS sim coming up in a moment as well. Houston 115.8 implied points. Memphis 120.8. So Houston a 5-point dog on the road, which I think speaks to the fact that Şengün maybe not going today. But Şengün a Q tag right now. Obviously, the spot for Amin Thompson feels like a good one, an up-pace spot. I did not juke Amin Thompson's rates. As a result, I'm getting him at 9% compared to the field's 15%. Amin Thompson, I would say, on a day where last time out, it was a back-to-back. He busted his mega chalk. As we talked about on the stream here, just too many people were on him. It was too much of a national spot. The game before that, where he hit the game winner versus Boston, went nuts against their tough team. For Amin Thompson, people are going to play him a lot again today, or, not as much today, rather, as he did that, second game of a back-to-back. I think there's a logic to playing more Amin Thompson today than the field's 15. So I may try to push a little bit more to him, even though the projections don't work out for me. Probably not going to juke the team's rates though overall, because I didn't like how that worked out last time on a back-to-back. But Houston this month of January has been like a different team overall. You've got more Amin Thompson production, a little bit more Şengün, things overall looking, really better for the team in terms of kind of a defined, 1, 2, 3 of Şengün, Amin Thompson, Jalen Green, with Van Vliet not nearly involved as much. I think it'd be reasonable to try to approach the slate like that, where you're getting more Şengün if he plays, getting more Thompson, more Jalen Green, because those guys have been the better usage guys. But really, for Amin Thompson, I'm not going to fuck with things too much, I think, and go crazy on him. But 15% feels light, given the fact that we're now not in a back-to-back in a pace-up spot versus a Memphis team that's got a lot of guys that can play loose with the ball with that pace-up situation. Van Vliet, really don't want him. Again, he really has regressed in this January period. He hasn't been good overall in the year, so that's that. Yeah, nobody else here stands out that much. Tariq at 11% compared to the field's 8%. Cam Whitmore flat with the field on, who just looks like less of a good play, though hopefully he'll be healthier than when he failed miserably last time out after dragging that Q tag on too late. Nothing looks that great here. Yeah, Thompson's 22 today. I didn't see that on Twitter. So yes, it is his birthday if you want to play him. But I think for me, when I actually load lineups up, I'll probably force my way to more Amin Thompson, because I think with him failing miserably at that back-to-back and there being a logical reason why he failed, like his minutes were also shorter on that back-to-back too, I think going to him today would be a logical thing to do. And he has lit up Memphis before. EVP is not something I consider very much, but like he's done it before, and I think the game theory puts you there a little bit more. Memphis, 120.8 implied points here. John Morant being questionable matters a lot, because Jaren Jackson's already chalk with Morant in. If Morant's out, Jaren Jackson gets a rate boost overall. Is going to contribute more to that Vegas total, which will move down a couple points. But basically, that's like the main thing that happens here. When you wonder why teams matter a lot projection-wise because one player got ruled out, it's because the team total is still there. The team's still going to get X amount of possessions, X amount of stats. They're projected to play, score this many points. The points get redistributed then. They're going to go to Jaren Jackson more. They're going to go to Desmond Bane more. Because these guys are already borderline okay plays as it is, they're going to look like much better plays when John Morant is out. So these guys will be fairly chalky at this point if John Morant were out. As it is right now, quarter of the field on Jaren Jackson, that's fine at his price tag. Power forward center. We need power forwards on the slate. He's probably your leverage against LeBron, I'd suppose. If LeBron fails, maybe Jaren Jackson gives you enough points where LeBron puts up 55 at his price tag. Jackson puts up 50 at his price tag. That's one way that could work out. Zach Edey, I'm not there playing 20 minutes a game at 4,700. You can do enough in a tournament situation, I guess, especially if Şengün were out. But Memphis to me, not that good. Aldama, okay value at 4,600. Brandon Clark at 3,300, got about 10%, the less in the field. Just nothing that feels that great right now. But if Morant's out, that'll be it. Orlando, 109 implied points. Portland, 103.5 implied points. This game looks pretty ugly as well. Banchero, I got 8%. Franz, I got 13%. Suggs is questionable. If Suggs is out, he'll open up Cole Anthony a little bit more, but the minutes right now seem to be favoring Anthony Black anyway. Suggs not playing his full minutes run. You can't play him at 7,700. Cole Anthony is hilariously priced at 6,100 if we do have Jalen Suggs going. So Right now, Orlando to me does not look very good. Not a great total, not a great spot. Pretty low pace as well, even though technically it is a pace up for Orlando. And Portland, on this side, nobody really matters that much here. I don't think we have any key Q tags for Portland. Jeremy Grant, I guess, would be it. You'd up a little more opportunity for Denny Avdia. Shaden Sharp, I guess, could get actually, no, probably be Scoot starting if you got Jeremy Grant out. But Sharp would get more run. Scoot would get more run. Those guys will look better. As is right now, these guys don't look like serious plays. Besides Avdia, who I got a little bit above the field at 9% compared to the field 6 and change. But that's it right now for this one, guys, for the game-by-game view. Let's hop to the world of unabated guys, and let's see some quality bets, and really do check them out. Again, they're a great sponsor for the show. They're the only reason I'm able to do the show. So if you want to see a show like this continue, at the very least, click that link, go to Unabated, check it out for yourself, and see what they have over there, because it is a great product. And really, it's the best thing I could say for you is I would never tell you guys something's a good product if I thought it would help you lose your ass. Unabated will not do that for you, I promise you. So check out this video and hear me voice over it, I suppose. Click the link in the description and go over there. Can you tell that Unabated asked me about how conversions are doing? But please, if you ever were thinking about Unabated, now's the time to try it. Great betting tools and conditional NBA projections you can see on the screen. If guys are in, guys are out. You can mark them accordingly and make quick moves to get yourself EV on the top sportsbooks out there. Of course, real-time news as well. You don't want to go on Twitter like I don't want to go on anymore. You get Discord alerts for all the players being in or out, courtesy of Justin, fan of their projection team. And yes, you get graphs. You get so many graphs. You get more graphs than you ever thought were possible. Here you've been jerking off the graph paper for years, and instead, you could just be getting real digital graphs in front of you. Things have evolved now. It's not all graph paper, guys. Unabated.com/NBA. I don't know why we're not converting well. Unabated.com/NBA. But again, really, it is a great product. We make jokes here, but it is really one of the best betting products in the business. In particular, if you're trying to get better at betting, use data that you know top-level bettors are using. There are people that pay Unabated a lot of money, that pay for the company to exist because they want to have Unabated's data. You're getting it for much cheaper. Check it out for yourself, unabated.com/NBA. Even if you want to just get unique projections to use on a Stokastic sim, on a solver, whatever you want to use out there, use Unabated's projections. Like, they're selling them just DFS projections are much cheaper. And frankly, I build my own as my way to get unique. For you guys out there using Unabated, might be a good way to do that as well. People love the graphs. Skeet graphs. Oh, great. Well, if they update now, it doesn't do anything for me because I have to rerun everything. But that'll be good for the sim. I appreciate the sentiment. But thank you, Pan-G, for the update. I appreciate it. All right. EVs right now, top expected values. And again, expected value is a simple concept here. How much do you win versus how often do you win, minus how much do you lose times how often you lose. That's basically expected value of anything in life, but especially for betting, that's how you calculate the stuff they have on screen here. Sim EVs, we're looking for over 8%, so a little bit light here with all the Q tags we have, basically rolling out most of the teams on the slate. But these bets, you'll be able to take to the bank. Theoretically. Colin Sexton under 18.5 points, 9.4% EV on DraftKings Sportsbook. Looks like you're not getting it on your pick'em sites. Borderline playable on FanDuel, minus 106 odds, 7% EV there for under 17.5 points for Colin Sexton. Look, a Sexton under, I think, just makes sense today, given the fact that Jazz are now a very highly populated lineup with all the guys who can play are going to play, and you're playing Minnesota as well, who's a good team. So game theory fits Sexton. Unabated doesn't like Sexton either. See if we pulled in all the markets, because I think with all the Q tags, this might be all we get. Is there anybody I want to rule in or out? If we rule LeBron and Finney Smith in, we'll get those bets. I don't know that I want to do that to you guys, though, in case they don't play. Let's just stick with the bets we know. So Utah's got no Q tag, guys. We know that Sexton bet looks good. That's that. Mike here, thank you for the super chat. Mike, bet LeBron plus 370 to triple-double tonight. What are your projections in the 3 categories? Thanks for all your work specs. My projections in the 3 categories would be, I have LeBron for 27.9 points currently, 9.7 rebounds, 9.4 assists. So obviously within range to be a triple-double. At plus 370, that kind of accounts for me being projected under 10 for all those guys, or for all the stats, rather. So I think you're good for that. Just for you, Mike, because you did put in a super chat. Quick look at PRAs here, according to Unabated. You know what? They have LeBron out. So they would have LeBron at, assuming Finney Smith and LeBron both play. This is what you could see, too, with Unabated. Again, really great tool. So please do check it out. They would have LeBron at 28.7 points, assuming that he and Finney Smith play, 8.8 rebounds, 10.2 assists. I think you're getting enough value at that point. So, yeah, I would take that bet, Mike. And thank you again for the super chat. I do appreciate it. All right, rebounds. Let's take LeBron back out. Oops. Rather, let's not see him. That's a better way to do that. All right, and let's sim this. And again, guys, it's that easy to get all the bets you want, all the data. Just a few clicks away. Look how great my advertising is. All right, we got 12.9% EV for under 3.5 rebounds. Plus 128 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook gets you that 12.9% EV. You can take Keyshawn George under 4 rebounds on PrizePicks as well. And on DraftKings, you're getting 10.9% EV and under 3.5 rebounds for him at plus 124. So Underdog, I personally believe, is using unabated data to kill their inefficient lines because we are not getting very many bets from Underdog regularly. But the other sides you can get them, PrizePicks, DraftKings, FanDuel, Keyshawn George under 3.5 rebounds or under 4 rebounds, wherever you can get it. Keontae George, another George here with a K, under 2.5 rebounds for him. 9.3% EV on FanDuel Sportsbook. You probably don't want it on your pick'em sites because it's not available, and it doesn't look good enough on DraftKings. But Keontae George on FanDuel, plus 136 odds under 2.5 rebounds. DeAndre Hunter over 3.5 rebounds on PrizePicks gets you 9% EV for DeAndre Hunter. You're not playing it on your sports books, your regular ones, DK and FanDuel. So take it on PrizePicks, 9% EV for DeAndre Hunter. Max Strus, a rounded up 8% EV on over 4.5 rebounds for him, plus 114 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook, not available anywhere else. And now assists. Game stays tight, Mike. You should get that. That's how we bet here. The thing you have to ask yourself before you place any bet, does this guy's game stay tight? And I love you, James. It's a wild way to say, like, don't worry about your bet, buddy. That his game stays tight. So we'll be good to go. He won't sell you. We're going to use full TikTok lingo. He won't sell you. His game stays tight. Jordan Clarkson, 17.2% EV on under 2.5 assists, plus 120 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook, not on your pick'em sites, not on FanDuel. So DraftKings only. Jordan Clarkson under 2.5 assists at plus 120. Dyson Daniels over 3.5 assists, minus 118, the usual PrizePicks line there. It's a 16.3% EV. You're not playing an Underdog because it's not available, and it's not on DK or FanDuel at enough of an EV. So Dyson Daniels on PrizePicks over 3.5. Really does show every day, by the way. PrizePicks is the laziest lines in the biz. They hang around longer than they should so many times here every day on stream. 12.4% EV for Colin Sexton under 3.5 assists, plus 126 odds gets you 12.4% EV on FanDuel. Also bettable on PrizePicks under 4 there, 11.4% EV, and bettable on DraftKings under 3.5 assists for him, plus 120 odds. So Colin Sexton plus money bet, 12.4% EV. 11.1% EV for Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists. That one is looking good on PrizePicks in particular. Not available on Underdog and not good enough of an EV on DraftKings or FanDuel. So Mitchell over 4.5 assists on PrizePicks. Once again, just beat up PrizePicks. We're not a partner here to take all their money. Exploit them. Exploit them like a Diddy party. We shouldn't say that. We shouldn't. That's not good. All right. Exploit them like a Terry Rozier under. That's better. That's more on brand. PRAs, last but not least, we got EV on Colin Sexton, 12.6% expected value. Under 25.5 PRAs for Colin Sexton. Good to go on PrizePicks. Good to go on Underdog. You're still getting 9.7% EV for under 25.5 PRAs on DraftKings Sportsbook. 10.4% EV. Finally, one with every sportsbook here. All the main ones for Colin Sexton under 25.5 PRAs, and it is moving as we speak, so go get it. Max Strus over 17.5 PRAs, plus 100 odds on DK Sportsbook, gets you 10.7% EV. You're also getting 8.7% EV on PrizePicks, and can you get it on FanDuel? Can you get it on FanDuel? No, you can't. You don't want it there. Jordan Clarkson here, our last PRA bet. Again, a lot of Q-tag guys. I don't show you guys the Q-tag in or out for the most part here because it's just not, it's too many things to explain. Like, if Mike Conley is out, this bet's good. If Mike Conley's in, that's too much. Right now, these bets I'm showing you on screen are ones where there's no Q-tags, no questionable players we're worried about right now. If you want to go to Unabated, see different ones, what happens when LeBron is out. Huge EV, I am sure, on the Lakers if LeBron doesn't play. So that's the kind of stuff you could look at for yourself, unabated.com/NBA. Anyway, Jordan Clarkson under 17.5 PRAs, close enough at 7.5% EV, minus 110 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook for Clarkson, and that's the only place you can get it that looks good. So Clarkson under 17.5 PRAs, good to go. And that is your World of Unabated. Please do check them out. They are really a great partner here, even if I am not converting enough for them. I would love to convert more for them. 170 of you beautiful motherfuckers watching this one. Go get better at betting. And really, I've heard my pal Josh Engelman talk about it as it relates to Stokastic and Odd Shopper and all of that. But really, like, if you want to be serious about playing DFS, you're going to stem some losses a lot better on nightly tournament slates by doing betting, doing EV-based betting, whether it's sim data like Unabated has that I show you on screen, the market-based projections that Unabated has that I showed you earlier in the week. That's the kind of stuff that will help you build a bankroll with betting. And I know it sounds like a grift, but it's really not. Like, betting is one of the more figure-outable things that we have when you use good tools and data. And it's honestly, as much as I love DFS, betting's a lot easier to get the results you want on a nightly basis than it is with DFS. And that's really the unfortunate reality of things. So, but of course, DFS is fun. Like, that's the whole thing that I always say here is like, you should be playing this stuff for entertainment, but if you want to try to build a bankroll over the course of time, and you see my pal Greg Ehrenberg also at Stokastic, the way he's doing the threads out there where it's like you do 100 bets in a day and you achieve, like a $50 return on all the bets you place. Like, that's how you do it. Just building day after day, getting in high volume. And, really that's the most I could tell for you guys out there. But that's part of the Unabated sales pitch, I guess. And of course, Stokastic, also 15% off. Link in the description for all their stuff. Check them out. Appreciate you guys being a part of Stokastic affiliate fees are going well. We think our highest converting month here in January, which is great, given that NFL's ramping down. But got to get them both. Got to make all the partners happy, guys. Otherwise, I can't do the show. So you guys know the deal. And of course, like and subscribe while the sim runs here. I'm just filling time while the sim's doing its job. Of course, Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. I'm here for that. Oh, you guys talking about LeBron and Diddy? All right. I don't know about that. All right, compiling results here. Anyway, like, is Terry Rozier betting this year too? Because I feel like all of his unders have looked pretty good this year. Just a general thought here. All right, we got Stokastic's data updated. As we talked about earlier, my data not a part of this one. I ran my sim before the show with my projection set. This is all Stokastic's updated projections as of 4:15 p.m. on the East Coast, it looks like. So your top ROI lineups via Stokastic data right now: Jordan Poole, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Franz Wagner, Evan Mobley, Jackson Hayes, Austin Reeves, Naz Reid, and Jonas Valanciunas. So two centers from the same game. Price tags work for both of them. There is a push-pull dynamic with centers, which we saw really aggressively yesterday for Towns and Jokic. But these guys coming in your number one ROI lineup: Hayes and Jonas Valanciunas together again. Donovan Mitchell at number two, your number two ROI lineup on Stokastic. These are the only two lineups, by the way, above 100% ROI. Mitchell, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Franz Wagner, Naz Reid, Jonas Valanciunas, Austin Reeves, Tari Eason, and Rudy Gobert. So Gobert coming in this one. Franz Wagner in both surprised me a little bit. Nickeil Alexander-Walker in both also surprises me a little bit, given that we haven't gotten Conley ruled out yet. Number three, you have Austin Reeves, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Franz Wagner, Naz Reid, Rashawn Holmes. So Rashawn Holmes and J-Val in the same lineup? Okay. Jordan Poole, Banchero, J-Val. Look, the Lakers center situation is pretty dire. I would have a hard time playing J-Val and Holmes together. I suppose they both can hit because they're both going to play. I mean, J-Val's going to play 28-ish if he plays 4 quarters of run, 28 to 30. Holmes plays 18. Holmes' price tag is cheap enough to not be on my screen, so I think he's 3K. Hold on, I'm just looking up Holmes' price tag. Yeah, Holmes is 3K. All right, I get it. So you play a min-priced Holmes with J-Val. That can work. Darius Garland, Bub Carrington. Again, I would really caution against Bub Carrington if he gets super chalky. Franz Wagner, Jaren Jackson, Jackson Hayes, Mike Conley, Paolo Banchero, and Rudy Gobert. So you're getting a lot of Magic guys. You're getting Wagner in your top three, Banchero in one of them, again with Wagner's. That's a lot. It's a lot of Magic. I'm surprised by that. Austin Reeves, Donovan Mitchell, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Evan Mobley, Rudy Gobert, Darius Garland, Naz Reid, Steven Adams. So a lot of Naz Reid, a lot of cheap center bullshit. You don't really have your pay up over the top center today, so I guess I get it. And a lot of Franz Wagner and Magic, really just Magic high usage guys. Right now, your top ROI players, according to Stokastic data, number one would be Naz Reid. So don't worry about the positive ROI versus negative ROI. It's because it's a 150 set in a short slate. You're looking at it for the directional accuracy here. Naz Reid, number one, though, with a positive ROI of 0.7%. Number two, we have Franz Wagner, negative 0.5%. Jackson Hayes, negative 5.4%. Tari Eason, negative 6.4%. Jared Allen, negative 9%. Evan Mobley, negative 9%, rounded down. And Mike Conley, negative 10%. So these are your top guys. Reid, Wagner, Jackson Hayes, Tari Eason, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Mike Conley. Theoretically, those are the guys that make you the most money on the slate, according to Stokastic data. Top exposure here. Franz Wagner, 62% exposure. So you're getting almost 3x the field on Franz. Look, it's a good matchup for Franz. They had him projected for how many minutes? They must have upped the minutes a little bit, I think. I had Franz a 5x value for me at 29.6 projected minutes. So I guess I get it. Feels like a lot of Franz. Like, I like Franz a lot. Portland down pace matchup, low total. I don't know if that's the day to go nuts on Franz, but you're getting what you're getting. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, 48% compared to 47. Naz Reid, 47% compared to 16. So almost 3x the field on Naz Reid. Evan Mobley, it's 47% compared to 27. So a pretty big stand in favor of Evan Mobley today. Again, versus an Atlanta team that's going to be extra soft. Jonas Valanciunas, they're under the field on J-Val. I was over before, but I'm sure they gave him less minutes. But 43% exposure compared to 46% for the field. Jordan Poole above the field nonce. They agree with me on that. 41% compared to 26. And Mike Conley, 31% compared to 24, assuming that he does play. Your highest leverage guys are the pay for Paolo, but Franz is good. I agree Franz is good. I just think that's a lot of Franz. Like, if you have Banchero there at a similar price tag, projection is technically higher for Banchero. Should probably just play more Banchero and less Franz would be my thought. But obviously the sim is giving you this. But that's the game theory like that you have to layer on top of the sim, where it's like, okay, if you know the sim is giving people Franz Wagner a shitload, then maybe you consider Banchero more because people are going to play so much Franz when people do just take lineups directly from Stokastic. But that is, of course, the delicate push-pull of all the stuff. We got... What is this? Are we doing like a fucking fake ad sales here? I feel like this is a bit. I'm sorry, man. I'll give you a 5-minute timeout. If Dabble wants to sponsor the show, they could do this shit. That felt like the fakest chats, the most industry plant chats in the world. Has anybody heard of this Dabble Sports? I hear Dabble Sports gives you a but fuck out of here, man. Pay me. You want to fucking talk about Dabble Sports? That shit out of here. Unless it's a legit person trying to help, but I don't think it was. You don't need $25 in deposit match. Get $1,000 from Underdog instead of fucking 25 from Dabble. Whatever Dabble does. Jackson Hayes, 21% compared to 10. Jordan Poole, 41%. Really big leverage on the guys we already talked about here. Leverage on Wagner, Reed, Mobley, Poole, Hayes, Jaren Jackson, who's going to look a lot better if you get Ja Morant out. Jared Allen, 26%. That's why I was allowing it at first, but that second one was the most industry plant chat I've ever seen. I mean, I'm glad that this channel matters enough that people are trying to get free promo for their 4th tier fucking apps. Get the fuck out of here, man. That's crazy. I've never seen that before. We got LeBron James, negative 21% leverage here. We got Anthony Edwards, negative 15% leverage. Kyle Kuzma, negative 11. He's been awful, but do you think he has leverage against a chalky pool? Julius Randle, negative 11% leverage. I'm always low on Randle. I agree with that. Max Strus, negative 10%. I am more in favor of Max Strus. Dylan Brooks, negative 5%. Jaden McDaniels, negative 5% rounded up. Those are your top plays right now. That's it, guys. I think that's anybody else we should look up here. I'm surprised you're under the field on LeBron. I have to say that. LeBron fade does not feel good to me on the slate. But you're getting so much Franz Wagner, I guess. It's hard to get LeBron. Yeah, I'm moving up in the world by people trying to spam me for free. I'm crushing it. But I'd rather have porn bots. Yeah, dabbling in my stream chat. That's true. All right, so splash plays of the day, guys, for me. And again, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. No matter how hideous I am due to bursts and blood vessels in my face, I will show up here. I really hate being on camera. Look, I'm not like the most beautiful person in the industry, but I like to look cute here. And, like I'm not cute right now, but I'm still showing up here doing the work because that's the promise of Splash Play. Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. I do NBA DFS content here. I'll show you my data. I don't care what Stokastic does an update. I don't care what Unabated does an update. I'll be here doing the work for you. So please show some love. Subscribe here. Get us to 1,000 subs. It'd mean a lot for me and my child. My child would be lost if I don't hit 1,000 subs. Underdog, we're gonna get my splash plays, but sponsors first. $1,000 of bonus cash with Underdog. Don't play on Dabble, who tries to fucking scam you for free on YouTube chats. Go to Underdog. They're a verified sponsor. Stokastic, 15% off. Link in the description. Unabated, $30 off. Link in the description. Great tool. If you want to keep seeing the show, go click that link. Go pay for some Unabated for the love of God. And of course, gamble responsibly, guys. Even so, it's money time here. Splash plays for the day. J-Val is it. It's the fact that he bombed yesterday. Got to go back there, I think, again today. Should be. Your hope is that he gets you to about 30 minutes in 4 quarters of play. A chance he doesn't close. Still think he should be more productive in 3 quarters of play, even if he doesn't close. So I'm going to die on the hill of J-Val once again. If people are afraid of it, fine. I'll do it again. Ty Jerome, another value for me. He'd be another splash play for the day. I think he looks good. Obviously, not as safe a situation as yesterday. We had no LeVert, no Garland, but today still no Garland, and that's really been the main thing for Ty Jerome lately. A little bit too cheap with how he's played. He probably should be about like a 5K price tag. LeBron has to be a splash play, given the fact that Stokastic wants you to fade him. I strongly disagree. If LeBron plays, he's the best player in the slate. He's one of the only guy projected for over 50 fantasy points. He's going against Washington. He is your guy to go to today. Even if he's super chalky, I still think he's the play. And it doesn't seem like they expect him to be that highly owned. So I like LeBron is a great play, and I don't know why they're not in on it. And anything else here to highlight as a splash play? Just looking at my exposures one more time. I think those are really the big ones. Jaden McDaniels will be another one I'll throw into. I'm getting a lot of him, and I don't think that's going to change. That's it for today, guys. Again, appreciate all you being here. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. once again for our little fun Friday version of the show. And once again, gamble responsibly, guys. And even though it is always money time, I did that in the wrong order. That's why I'm doing it again. Follow me at Chris Spags, even though I don't tweet. Follow the show at SplashPlayNBA, at SplashPlayPod. Your likes, subscribes go a long way. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow for more. So no deeper dive. Go check out the content Stokastic is doing today. It's Greg and Lofty doing some betting stuff with the portfolio of EV tool. So different thing they're doing. Support it if you want. If not, tell them you missed the deeper dive, and I'm sure they'll hear you. But I'll see you guys again soon. Enjoy your days. Good luck. Appreciate y'all being here. Bye-bye, and fuck dabbles.